Dillon Gabriel started his first game for the Browns overseas in London, but they still end up getting the loss 21-17 because one thing is very clear with Kevin Stafanski. He just has no offensive play calling bag at all. That was just a tough loss to the Vikings, 21-17. And again, it's just Stafanski to me getting exposed a little bit as the play caller for this offense. Now, it was Dillon Gabriel's first ever game, and he was going against Brian Flores. And we know what Brian Flores can do to quarterbacks, has them normally freaking out, not completing a lot of passes, and out there really a little fucked up out there. Seeing a bunch of blitzes, different coverages you don't see. But however, with the Browns, they just weren't giving Dillon any help, and it was clear. There were no easy plays, no motions where you would see some easy routes drawn up of it. Not a lot of real formation variation, which is something that they really should have gone to, specifically moving to Gabriel away from Flacco. Now, they did try a little bit, some of those PA rollouts, some of that stuff. But the fact is, Dillon Gabriel in college, he went to Oklahoma, and then he went to Oregon. Both of those offenses are extremely spread, extremely quick moving, and they get the ball out of their hands quick normally. Now, I know Oregon right now has a bit more of a run heavy centric kind of theme, but it's still a lot of movement, a lot of in space. They didn't really give Dillon the chance to run that kind of offense. It was still the Browns offense, a lot of two tight ends, a lot of running the ball. And I don't mind running the ball with Judkins. Judkins was going off. 23 carries, 110 yards. He was a monster. He actually had a few big plays taken back. So I don't want it to seem like everything Stafanski was calling was bad or that it didn't make sense. But the problem was when they did throw the ball, they ran it with Judkins 23 times. They threw it with Dillon Gabriel 33 times. But the passing game just wasn't efficient enough. They weren't getting Dillon easy throws. And he was hitting them, right? Like, they were moving the ball. They had 17 points. But that's what they've been scoring all season. It's just not a lot of screens, not a lot of random plays that could pop for 15, 20 yards. And I think the thing that made it to where you really saw it was that Kevin O'Connell's there on the other end with Carson Wentz, and it just looked easy a lot. Their opening scheme got him 7 points. They ran Cam Akers on a pass early in a wildcat situation. It was just a lot of stuff in their offense that really helped it out, that helped Carson Wentz out early in the game and later in the game, and the Browns didn't show enough of that. And they haven't shown enough of that all season and really over the last couple of years. And for the most part, we give them, like, they had Deshaun Watson, or even they have Joe Flacco. But if you're not going to play Shador, and if we're going to talk Dillon Gabriel, like, that's going to be the thing. He has to be effective in the offense. It can't just look the same. And for wild stretches, even though I liked how Dillon Gabriel played, it looked way too similar for the Cleveland Browns out there. Speaking of which, numero dos. Dillon Gabriel, is he the guy? Dillon Gabriel was hooping out there. When they finally did let him really throw the ball right before the 2-minute warning, I mean, you saw it. Quick passes, really good decisions. And they got down the field, kicked a field goal. The entire game, I would say, like, no mess ups. Even down 4, that huge the couple of plays to Njoku, which had my guy dancing. Man was dancing his ass off. But the touchdown strike to him on the slant, that was some good stuff from Dillion. But is he the guy? I'm not sure. I think for sure he's earned himself 5-6 games to see. But I think Dillion ran the offense very well in his first game. Some of the limitations are, he can't really fully run, but no one else on the roster really can make those plays in the run game. Dillion would actually be the best option over Shador and Joe Flacco, just from a running standpoint. And I think passing, he was. Now, there were a lot of passes that weren't open that he was fluttering away, but he didn't throw any picks. And with this defense, that's what we were asking Joe Flacco to do. And he was not doing it. And so by we, I mean the Browns organization. I'm not a Browns fan, but that watching the games, you'd be like, man, if Joe Flacco could just not throw these dumb picks, he was second in the league in picks heading in, what would happen? Well, we kind of got the answer with Dillion Gabriel. The problem is it led to the same amount of points. Now, the Vikings defense is better than some of the defenses that they've been playing recently, but I still think time will tell. Specifically on Dillion Gabriel, but he had some moments there. He had some moments where you're like, okay, I understand. I see why they want to play him next and give him this opportunity. Now, the issue for the Browns, specifically this game, is they are relying so much on that defense, and that defense showed some leaks and some flaws on Sunday morning. And a lot of it was caused by the Vikings early in the game. Quick. They were not going to let Myles Garrett completely wreck the game, but they also weren't going to completely, how can I say it, game plan away from him. So the short passing game exposed some things. The early scheme that the Browns had to adjust to, the quick hitters, and one thing to me that got exposed on this Browns defense was Greg Newsome. I mean, again, it's Justin Jefferson. So let's be fair. Jettis is going to expose a lot of weaknesses and a lot of defenses. He already has. He's on his way to probably becoming a Hall of Famer. And by many people's rankings, assessments, he's been at the very worst a top 3 receiver in the league over the last 4 or 5 years. However, Greg Newsome is getting his ass kicked. I mean, any route that they couldn't fully go at Ward for most of the game, so they chose to attack Newsome throughout the majority of the game, and that was working. And that helped Jettis kind of get off. But after that, in that no huddle situation, the Browns have some communication issues that I wonder if teams are going to peep and if a lot of teams are going to use it on the back end. Because when the Vikings went no huddle, the Browns couldn't really stop it toward the end of the game on that last drive, and I was stunned. I was expecting the Browns to come up, make a stop on Carson Wentz. They were just getting hit with short stuff, quick. Couldn't have an answer. And then to make it worse, the Browns, Kevin Stafanski knew that they didn't have an answer, and he was trying to call timeouts to slow the pace down, to help the defense out. The Vikings knew it. They went screen immediately. They got a couple yards. Then they went no huddle. That was all by design. Once the Browns had no more timeouts to stop them, they went no huddle. They had the play. They had Addison on a little route, a very easy looking route. Just an out and up, a little wheel kind of on the sideline, and it was a touchdown, and it was simple. And the Browns just had, they looked lost when they went fast. So if I'm the Browns, I know this defense is definitely what you're trying to hang your hat on But I would watch out for that and some teams trying to no huddle them, because there was something to that, I think. Where Stafanski saw it and he tried to help them out. He's like, oh, we're not good in this situation. Timeout, timeout, timeout. And it just didn't work. Maybe it was just something the Vikings had that he knew O'Connell had. But that's definitely something where if I'm the Browns, that's the only real concern with this defense that I saw in the game. I mean, that and Newsome. But again, it's Justin Jefferson. But I think the biggest thing for the Browns, where they go from here, they've got to be more creative on offense early. They just don't have a choice at this point. You're 1-4. You've been struggling. Go out there. I need some more creativity from this offense. I need some motions. I need some attempts for a downfield shot when the running back, you got to watch him because he's so good. Or at least less holding so Judkins can at least get off. There's a huge touchdown taken back from holding. You either got to be disciplined if you're going to just call this straight go-ahead run style, or we need some chunk plays, because you're not going to be able to move down the field effectively if you get that one penalty. And we saw it a lot with Dillion Gabriel. Now it's 1st and 20, and now you have no bag. You have nothing to go to where you feel like you can pick up an easy 7 yards. It just wasn't happening. And that's a huge problem for the Browns. So we'll see if Stafanski can adjust to any of that. Very interested. And we'll see if anyone can attack these guys in no huddle. I don't trust the defense to be a huge problem going forward. But that was a tough loss to drop to 1-4. And now with Dillion Gabriel at the helm, they're just trying to hang on by a thread to any hopes of making the playoffs this season. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do weekly videos for each team. So we have playlists directed to your team and the week in the description. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment in that section. I'd love to talk to you guys about what you think about the videos, what could be improved, what I did right. Thank you again. Lumia Sports. Peace.